it's Ev. If you don't know me, just for context, I'm a trans guy and I've been on testosterone for just over 18 months. If you are subscribed and you're wondering where my 18 months on T video is, well, I've decided to wait until I've had my third shot of libido to make it, because in that video I want to compare gel and injections. So that video will be coming, but anyway, one of my older videos, which is one of the most popular videos on my channel, was about how I stopped passing when I was out in public. Passing basically means being read as the gender that you identify as, so for me it would mean when I go out in public, people would call me Sir Young Man and not Miss Young Lady, not refer to me as she, her, they see me as a man and refer to me as one. It's not really a great word for a number of reasons, but I don't really like it because it sounds like pass or fail, like if you don't pass then you failed, but that's not really how it is, but that's just the word that people use, so yeah. Basically, as that video is one of the most popular videos on my channel, I thought I'd do like an update for it, because I do pass a lot more now, but still not all of the time. Looking back, I can see how in that video I was very feminine looking and I had a very feminine voice, but I was really just confused because throughout my whole childhood I regularly got mistaken for a boy, even when I had long hair and wore girls' clothes. I wore like very tomboyish clothes, but they were like from the girls' section mostly, and even then I sometimes got called a boy when I didn't want to be. It was quite embarrassing because a lot of time like my hadn't would laugh at me because hadn't come out as trans, so I didn't even know I was trans, so it was just like quite an awkward thing for a girl to be called a boy. But then once I realised that I was a boy, for a while that just suddenly stopped happening, even though then I started wearing more men's clothes and obviously I had shorter hair and I was binding my chest, and just for a while I stopped. There was just a period of time where I was just never being called young man, I was always being called young lady, miss. Like if I went into a shop someone would say, "Can I help you, miss?" and stuff like that. But anyway, now I've been on testosterone for 18 months. Most of the time I am read as male and people in public see me as a guy, which is good, but sometimes they still don't. There are a variety of ways that strangers misgender me. Most frequently it'd just be like in shops. If I'm next in the queue, they'd say, "Hi, can I help you, miss?" Or if I'm walking with a friend and she's a girl, people will often walk past and say, "Hey ladies," or just refer to us as both girls. Or if there's two girls I'm with and strangers start talking to us, they will speak as if we're all girls. As well as that, when people start speaking to me like in pubs and clubs and stuff, often drunk men, they'll be like, "Hey, what's your name?" And I'll say Evan, and then they'll say Anna or Emily or Amy or any girl's name that doesn't even sound like Evan, and I'm just like, yeah, okay, because I'm not going to see them again. I don't really care if they think my name is Anna. Sometimes men, like working behind a bar or in a cafe or somewhere where they're at work, like other men my age will call me sweetheart or darling, and I think then most of the time they probably think I'm a girl. One time I was in a queue waiting to go get my food served to me when I was at uni, and I saw the guy called the two men in front of me mate, and then when it was me he said, "Hi sweetheart," so I assumed he thought I was a woman. I'm not complaining, by the way, I'm just like giving examples. Once a guy in a club told me he could tell that I was a lesbian, but he wondered if I would make an exception for him, which was weird because back then I'd literally only ever been with men, and I am a man, and he thought I was a woman that was only into women. But anyway, I was like, yeah, you're right, I'm a lesbian. I'm not making an exception. And just in general, men in clubs that are drunk often start speaking to me thinking I'm a lesbian, and they're usually very creepy. The creepy men part I don't like, but when it's just people that are serving me, just calling me miss, young lady, sweetheart, or whatever, I honestly don't really care. If I'm probably not going to see them again, or they're not going to be a part of my life, like, it doesn't matter to me, I can just brush it off. It's not that when they call me young lady, that feels right and I think, yeah, I am a young lady. I'm not. It's just that if they're just someone that's serving me in a shop and they're not a part of my life, it doesn't really impact my life, so I don't really care. If, like, I made a new friend and they thought I was a woman, then that would bother me because they'd actually be, like, in my life, but just people that I'm just passing, like, I honestly don't really care. I know that it would make some trans guys dysphoric to be called young lady and stuff, but, well, for one, it only happens occasionally now, and then also, I know that it happens because my face is quite androgynous and I'm quite short. It's not like because of my hips or because of my genitals or anything that I'm actually dysphoric about. I'm okay with having a more androgynous looking face. It doesn't bother me. Not all trans people are like dysphoric about every single part of them. Like everyone's different. And for me, I've never felt dysphoria surrounding my face. That doesn't mean I think my face is particularly nice looking, but just in terms of gender dysphoria, I don't really mind. Which is lucky because it hasn't really changed much on T. People say it has, but it hasn't. I know that I'm not a woman, and I have confidence in that, and strangers thinking I'm a woman doesn't make me a woman. Transphobes online that want to comment saying I'm a woman, that's not going to make me a woman. Like, it doesn't affect it. You don't need to pass as the gender you are to be the gender you are. And there's no rule saying that you have to try to pass. For me, transitioning has never been focused on passing as male. Like, when I took testosterone, that wasn't so that strangers would see me as male, it was because I wanted the changes for myself. It is important to me that people in my life see me as male, and I want people to see me as male, but I'm just saying my transition has never been like mainly focused on that. For some trans people, passing is extremely important to them and it's the main focus of their transition, and that's fine. It's just that we're all different. We all have different levels of dysphoria about different things, like we're not all the same. If I wore a dress and shaved all my body hair off and facial hair and went out into public, people would most likely refer to me as a woman because of how I'm presenting. That's just how it is. But I know that when I go out with men's clothes on, with sideburns, with a deepish voice, with a flat chest, if people see me and call me young lady, miss, I think that probably has more to do with them than it does with me and what I'm doing. And I'm not saying that in a bad way, like I'm judging them and I hate them for it. I'm just saying when you see someone and your brain makes a judgment, oh, young man, young woman, if they're calling me young woman, it's just to do with whatever their brain is, whatever's going on in their brain when they're making that quick judgment. Because sometimes I'll go into a shop and the person working there with complete confidence will say, hello young man, do you want a receipt or whatever? And then looking the exact same, I'll go into another shop and the person there with complete confidence will say, hello young lady, I look the same. It's just to do with how their brain is working. Because I look the exact same in both situations, but the person that called me a man and the person that called me a woman, obviously what's going on in their heads must be different and they must each have a different perspective, and they both just judge the situation differently. It's the complete confidence that some people have when they call me a woman that confuses me, because I can completely see how I'm androgynous and you might look at me and be confused, not really sure what I am. But in a situation where you're a bit confused, if you can just avoid gendering someone, you would, because you want to avoid the awkward, embarrassing situation of them saying, I'm not a man or I'm not a woman. So like if I saw someone and I wasn't sure if they were a man or a woman, I wouldn't go, hello sir, I'd just go, hello, you'd avoid gendering where you could. But sometimes when people are like, hey young lady, it's like there's not a single doubt in their mind that I'm a woman. They're not like apprehensive about it at all. They're completely confident I'm a woman. And although like I said, I can see how I'm androgynous, it does confuse me a bit how someone could look at me and just be so sure without a single doubt in their mind that I'm a woman. Like there's not anything about me that would give off a tiny little clue that maybe this isn't a lady. I do actually have a very shit beard, but it just confuses me. And I'm not saying it looks good, because it doesn't look good, but I would have thought it would give off the hint that I maybe wasn't a lady. But yeah, different people's brains obviously work differently, and I'm not complaining about it, I'm just saying it's a bit confusing. If this video does get views, which I'm not sure if it will or not, but if it does, there probably will be some people watching thinking, are you stupid? Clearly you look like a woman. No one would ever look at you and think you're a man. And then there are probably also some people watching, are you stupid? Clearly you look like a man. No one would ever look at you and think you're a woman. And I can assure you, both. Like, people look at me and think I'm a man, and some people look at me and think I'm a woman, and some people look at me and probably don't know what I am. That's just how it is. Interestingly, I never get asked anymore what I am. Before testosterone, I don't know if it's just because it was like younger people, like kids, I'd get asked, are you a boy or a girl? What are you? I can't tell what you are. Whereas now I never get asked, and I never get any comments about how people can't tell what I am. But I still get people thinking I'm a woman, but just never in the middle. I assume there probably are some people that look at me and are confused, but they never voice that anymore. It is actually quite annoying when people tell me that I pass really well and that no one would ever think I'm a woman, because then I'm like, oh no, they do. And they're like, no they don't. But why would I lie? Why would I make that up? I go out into public and people think I'm a woman. Like, people try and be nice by like informing me that doesn't happen, but as I'm myself and I go out into the public, I know that it does happen. I have my own experience from being myself and interacting with strangers. I know for sure that happens. You can't just tell me it doesn't happen. I forgot to mention that a big reason I wanted to make this video is that I've had quite a few comments on my transition timeline video that I did, which got a lot more views than my videos normally do, but people were saying that I passed so well, and they were saying that they wish they could pass as well as I do and stuff, and I don't want people to compare themselves to me and think that I pass really well when I don't. It's just that obviously I used my favourite photos of me in that like picture timeline. I wasn't going to use photos of me that I didn't like, so the photos which are my favourite ones happen to be the ones where I looked very masculine in them, I think. But yeah, people probably compare themselves to trans guys they see online, and it probably makes them feel bad about themselves, but yeah. Like, I got comments saying even when I was pre-T, I passed so well, but like, I didn't. Sometimes I did, sometimes I didn't, and I do pass a lot better now, but I think most people that are 18 months on T do. Yeah, just don't, I don't know. I just wanted to add that bit in. So yeah, I was going to make a video about passing tips, but I realised I basically don't have any tips, and I don't always pass, like I just said. Yeah, I did want to start making advice videos, but I realised that it would probably be more helpful, and I'd probably just be better at it if I just make videos like documenting and talking about my own experience with things like passing, dysphoria, coming out, sexuality, etc. And maybe some people can watch and relate, or maybe some people will watch and kind of see it from a different perspective, or like if you're not trans and you want to know what some things are that trans people go through, then you can watch and it will give you kind of an insight. It's also very tempting to make opinion videos on things like why trans people shouldn't be banned from sports, why trans people should be allowed in the right bathrooms and stuff like that. But I want to avoid my channel turning into a place for me to be argumentative and get annoyed. And I'd much rather just focus on documenting stuff and just talking about my own experiences. And I really want to stay away from all of the beef and drama inside the trans community and between the trans community and transphobes and TERFs and stuff. But who knows, that could change over time. My channel has evolved a lot over time. It started off as me, as a girl, ranting about veganism and eating soap. Anyway, like and subscribe. I'm trying to get to 900 subscribers. My goal was 700 by the end of the year, but I have already managed to complete that, so maybe I'll get to 1,000 by the end of the year. Bye!